everybody, welcome back to Big Balls Fantasy Football. It's Week 8 in the NFL and Fantasy. I'm Greg the Beast. I'm here to give you 2 go hard and 2 go soft picks. 2 picks that are going to help you in your lineup this week. 2 picks that aren't going to help you quite as much. So I'm very excited about my first pick this week in beasting out. My go hard is, of course, Big Ben. He's been sitting on my bench ever since he got his leg rolled over by the goddamn Rams defense. And now he's finally back, and he has weapons now. That's why you need to get him in this week. For goodness sake, he finally has Martavis Bryant and Le'Veon Bell with him. Not on suspensions, not on injuries, nothing. The Steelers are going to be at full-blown power this week, and Big Ben's coming back all healed up. And I know there's a lot of rumors, he was supposed to come back last week, and is he going to come back this week? He has been in practice. Tomlin is saying he is the guy this week, so get him in your lineup. Playing the undefeated Bengals, I know, that's rough, and they have a tough defense. But before the injury, Big Ben had 4 touchdowns, no picks, and he had 2 weeks over 350 yards. I just think he's going to take on their defense, and I don't think he's going to shred them, but I think he's going to get you some damn good points. And with all the weapons that he has at his disposal, Wheaton as your, one of your secondary guys. You have Antonio Brown out there. You have a lot of weapons out there. Big Ben's back. Get him in your lineup. There's no reason not to. So my next go hard is a little bit of a weird one this week. It is Ryan Fitzpatrick. And as I talked about in the intro, I had to get rid of Peyton Manning, who I took early in my draft. But now I had to pick up Ryan Fitzpatrick off the waiver wire instead. Stats don't lie. And over 3 weeks, he's gotten 250 yards each week. He's gotten 2 touchdowns 5 out of the last 6 weeks. And if you go and look on Cash's blog, he's picking him as a sleeper. I don't even think he's a sleeper. I think he's a solid guy to get in your lineup. He's putting up numbers. That's who you drag off the waiver wire. He's just been sitting there waiting for you. This week, Fitzpatrick's playing the Raiders, who gives the 9th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. It's a great matchup. He's been doing well. And, of course, then you have the Jets' defense that have been playing outstanding. Great for field management, great for time management in the game. That always helps. Fitzpatrick is a good pick to put in your lineup this week. Go pick him up. So let's get on to the go softs. We have Lamar Miller here, who I know lost his mind last week. I picked him up off the waiver wire, and he balled out for me last week off of the waiver wire. He went completely nuts, but unfortunately, he is playing against the Pats' run defense this week. Gives up the 10th fewest points to running backs. They've only given up 2 rushing touchdowns and only 1 100-yard game to running backs. So yes, I know he sat out there on a lot of waiver wires because the whole Dolphin situation just sucked with the coaching. Philbin's out, the new coach is in, and he's going to use him. Unfortunately, this is just one of those weeks where it's a crappy week to play him. So even I am reluctant to play him. I might actually play him, but I'm not going to expect as many points out of him, and that's why we do our go softs. We're not telling you not to play them, but we're telling you to be very reluctant. You're not going to get those double-digit points that you're expecting. So unless you really have to have him in your lineup, I would avoid putting Miller in. This is a shocker, I know, also. Yes, Aaron Rodgers. So, of course, he is playing in the biggest game of the week. You have undefeated Broncos against the undefeated Packers, and Rodgers is just coming off a bye week. I have him in one of my leagues, and I was like, wow, I'm so excited to get him back. Crap. He's playing against the Broncos D in this big marquee game on a Sunday night. This is what I like to call fantasy poison. It's going to suck. Both defenses have been playing very well. Yes, the Packers defense have stepped it up this season. And the Broncos D is giving up the least in the entire league, the least points to any fantasy quarterback. And that's going to also wear on the wide receivers you put in there, like Cobb and Adams. I just think this is going to be a grind of a game. Every single Denver game has been a grind, at least in the first half. You might get to eke something out in the second half, but I've watched every Broncos game. It's just been their defense is insane, and I think they're really going to give Rodgers fits. They caused 9 interceptions in 6 weeks. That's crazy. They've only allowed 5 passing touchdowns and only let, in 2 weeks out of the season, they've only let a quarterback go over 200 yards. So I think they're going to go lights out on Rodgers. Maybe in a non-PPR league, you might get maybe 15 points out of them. In a PPR league, you're talking 20s. And I know that sucks. You all rely on Rodgers, so it's not going to be a great week to put him in. I would keep him out. So that's my Beasting Out segment for this week. Let's go on to Jen Lee and her Real Men picks.